there. I just realized that I don't think I've ever shown you one of my biggest hobbies, as in something that I like to do for fun when I have the time. And it does take a lot of time. I make little figurines, oh well, not so little, figurines out of polymer clay. Now, if you're unfamiliar with polymer clay, it's essentially plastic. It's very gooey plastic. I use Super Sculpey, and I currently don't have any with me, or else I would show you. But it's in a box, and I cannot find it. I haven't done it for quite a few months. Well, that is a lie. I have made some presents for a friend of mine, maybe 2 months ago or 1 month ago, I'm not sure. But other than that, I haven't made a big project in quite a while. But I wanted to show you two, well, one semi-big and one that is the biggest of them all up to date, because it has a lot of details, and they are quite old. I think one is 1 year old and the other one is at least 3 or 4 years old. So they have accumulated a lot of dust, and of course I cleaned them. But since they are standing around all the time, the dust kind of sticks to them and is hard to get off. But anyway, I'm gonna start with the not as detailed one, and that is actually a cat. It's this cat. I love it so much. Like, obviously the proportions are completely off, and I do notice that on camera it looks quite yellow. It's more of an ochre. No, it's not yellow. But this is supposed to be the cat Muffin from the Kane Chronicles, which are books from the author Rick Riordan. He has also written the Percy Jackson books, and this is supposed to be Muffin the cat, who later turns out to actually be Bustard, the cat goddess, and she was described as quite ugly and had this weird pattern. Looks kind of like a wild cat. I made her very skinny and raggedy looking. And yeah, as you can hear, it sounds quite like plastic. And the way I make these sculptures is by using some armature wire, which is just a little bit of thicker aluminum wire. And I make like the basic shape, and then I put some aluminum foil around to make it a little thicker, so that I only have a very thin layer of clay, because the clay is quite expensive. And yeah, oh, look at that, I put these little toe beans on there as well. And this sculpture is actually just glazed on the underside, like where the toes are, where it stands. The rest is not glazed at all, because I wanted to keep it matte, and I do not have a matte glaze or protectant. So this is actually not protected at all. This is just acrylic paint on plastic. So it does scruff quite easily. And basically I put on a layer, and then it depends, like in this case I just immediately sculpted. Sometimes I put a layer down and bake it in the oven, and then afterwards I go over it with another layer. But since I wanted to achieve a very skinny cat, this is just one layer, and I just textured it a little with Wait, I can actually show you that. Wait a second. So I have a lot of these silicone tools. They are just silicone tips. This one is flat and this one is just very pointy. And I use them and go over the clay like that to create all those, like this fur texture that you can see. And then I just add another bit of clay, a little wiggle of clay, and I smooth out the edge with the rest of the body to have them just stand up on one side and not the other. And that's how I achieved the texture on this cat. Now the ears. The ears are very delicate because they are literally just a thin sheet of clay. Just a very thin sheet of clay attached to the head and painted. So these are most likely to break off, as well as of course the fur bits. Now the eyes, if you look at the eyes, they are more yellow than the rest of the body. I know the camera makes it look the same color, but the eyes are actually yellow and the rest is like a light brown, a beige, well, a yellowy beige and ochre, you know. And I used glass cabochons. As you can see, this is glass. You can hear it. It's glass. And I painted the back side. And first I just painted a stripe down as the iris. And then I put some gold on the edge. And then I filled in the rest with yellow. And then I simply sticked it in on there and worked the clay around it to form the eyes. And I love it. I'm very proud of this cat. I love Muffin. Originally I wanted to make a little necklace as well, but that didn't turn out great, so eventually I just put it away. But this is Muffin the cat from the Cane Chronicles. I love her so much. And the second one is like the biggest, oh wait, no, I'm gonna put it away. The biggest project I've ever done. It had a lot of planning and it's not perfect. I feel like Muffin the cat is much more, well, it's not perfect, but it turned out exactly how I wanted it to turn out, and this one obviously didn't, especially the face, because that is a human face and I cannot do human faces. I still can't. But this one is also a lot older. It's like 4 years old. 3 or 4 years. I'm not sure. I'm not sure actually how old it is, but it's a lot older than Muffin the cat. And it's a centaur. And I'm gonna show you. He's not perfect, but I tried my best. This is him. Now I have glazed him completely. See how the dust just sticks to him. Now he is completely glazed because I wanted to protect him from the dust and the debris, because this took so much time to make. I'm gonna show you in detail every single detail right now, but first a little backstory. I wanted to make a centaur and I planned it out. I made a structure. I looked at how to make a horse, how to make a human body. I knew that the human body had to look proportionally too big for the horse in order to work. And I did all that, so the proportions are not off. They are like this on purpose, although the legs are a bit short, but I had to do it because I wasn't sure if, like, this is quite heavy, and if I've made the legs of the horse longer, then I was afraid it was just gonna break. And just like the last time, I first put in armature wire and then I built up. And I wanted to make a white horse originally, but the thing is, the clay Super Sculpey is beige, so it's like a white person color, like my skin. But it collects dust while you work, and painting over it in another like beige color like white person color, it just looks bad. And so I've decided to make a black horse with a darker skinned person on top, which is why yeah, you can see that the face, let's just ignore it, okay? It's wild. You know what? No, let's take a closer look as to why this face obviously does not go with the color palette and is just a little wonky in general. Oh, that was the crown. Anyway, so he has very big, striking, doll-like blue eyes. And I do like the eyes, and I do like these very out there cheekbones. And it goes in there. We have a mouth, but it's just painted on. Like, the mouth is not real, it's just painted on. It's just a line, essentially, and a line a bit further down to indicate a lower lip, but not an upper lip. He does not have an upper lip. I've made like 15 faces before I just settled on this one, okay? So, yeah, it's definitely not perfect, but it's the best I had. And his nose is quite cute, but it's a bit too much out there and a little bit too skinny for the face. I feel like, okay, of course the chin would have to be bigger, like it's very, very haggard. But he has like one eyebrow up and one down, like he's a little skeptical. Like, look at him, he's looking at you, he's giving you the side eye and being like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? And then he has long, flowy black hair with a white stripe going down. And now he's losing his spear as well. Yes, it is all detachable. Sometimes, if it does want to. So, okay. I can also, you know what? Let's get him naked. I'm not gonna take this off because it takes ages to get back on, but now he's naked. And his arms are a little weird, but that is because of the spear, because I wanted to take the spear in and out. And he has his arms around. I do feel like his arms are way too long, but that's okay. I actually did plan it that way because I had no idea how to handle arms. Because if you look at the whole body and you have like the arm that is down here, it would be like here. So he has very long arms. But I don't think that you can actually like see it. I mean, you can see it. Okay, now that I said it, I'm seeing it, that the arms are way too long, but at least they're around the same length, right? They could be not the same length, but they are pretty much the same length. And I am incredibly proud of the hands. I know they're ugly, but like, have you ever tried to like draw or sculpture hands? It's horrible. And not only does he have hands, but he also has fingernails that for some reason are the same color as his hands because I just gave up. So his fingernails are the same color as his hands. But whatever. But I am proud of his hands. Like, they're still ugly, obviously, and the thumbs are not thumbing, you know what I mean? But I feel like this one looks more like a thumb from the positioning than this one. But I am so proud of them. I am incredibly proud of them. And I feel like I can be. Now he does have this chain. This chain is permanently stuck here on his no nipple. He has a no nipple torso. The reason being, I always put the nipples on and it never looked quite right. No matter where I put them, like they're supposed to be somewhere around here, but every time I put them there, it just looked weird for some reason, so I just gave up. And now he has no nipples. No need to censor the titties if there are no titties to censor. Anyway. And he has little ears behind his sideburns. Oh, like the details on this, it's taken me ages to make this, right? I like the chain with the green on top and the little bands everywhere, and the armor, like this leather, it's supposed to be leather, red leather armor. And then we also have another strap over here, and his little, I don't know what it's called, I'm not sure, I don't do horses, but you know, his little blanket for his saddle to rest on. And now here the hoofs also are hoofing, the hoofs are hoofing, yes, they do have the hoof texture. He has a belly button, I just wanted to mention that. He does not have genitals. I don't do horse genitals, I don't do genitals in general, but especially not horse. But he has a belly button. The cat does not have a belly button. He does. For whatever reason. I don't know. I don't even know if horses actually have a belly button down there. Now that I think about it, they probably don't. I don't know why I put a belly button down there. But I did. Anyway. Yeah, so he has some white accents. He's a black horse with some white accents. And also his tail is black as well, with a white stripe on the same side as on his head. Very much into the details, alright? And you can also see the chain just goes around his entire body and is glued in some places. And he's very shiny, like he's a shiny Pokemon, right? And he's quite big. He's not the biggest thing I've ever made, but the most detailed for sure. And I'm just so proud of him. Like, the horse actually looks like a horse. A little long, for sure, but like, look at that. Short legs, long torso. It's a wiener horse. Look at that wiener horse. The wiener horse with a belly button and no wiener. Wow. I'm so sorry. I love him. I love him so much. He is my pride and joy. Now, he has a little tiara. I don't know why. It's just a piece of wire with like a little bit of clay at the front. And it rests on top of here. Like that. Like, it actually rests there. It just falls into place when you put it on there. Yeah. It's like, it matches his eyes. Oh, and his eyes are just painted on. They are not cabochons or anything. They're just painted on there. Oh. I love the way, like, look at his eyes. He doesn't have pupils, but he doesn't need pupils. He has no wiener. He doesn't need to see. But it's like a dark blue at the top and a light blue at the bottom, and then some light reflections. I'm very proud of this paint job. Like, of the eyes, not the rest, but the eyes. And now the best part are his accessories. So we've already addressed his tiara. There he goes. He's not a prince, by the way. He just wears a tiara. He's just a dude who lives in the forest, I guess. And he has a little spear with some dangly bits. The same chain as goes around his body. It's also painted green in some places. And I've put a little plastic ball at the end, so he can at least have one ball. And here's the tip. It's just some clay painted in black and then some silver metallic over it. And again, some, I don't know what that is. I think this is actually stuff to bind books. Like, all of the things are, they're like very sturdy thread, and that is like laced with wax. I think it's used for bookbinding usually. But there's also this red wraparound, like on his arms. Yeah, I love it so much. And it's just like one of those shashlik sticks. I don't know what I call it in English. but that is just the base, and I've used a little brown to age it a bit. You can see it better up here. Yeah, I love it so much. I don't know why. Usually when stuff doesn't turn out the way I wanted to, then I hate it. But in his case, I could never hate him. He's my precious baby boy. Now, the cutest part of his whole design is his little saddlebags. Oh my god. Look at them. Look at them. Oh my god. Okay, let's get into the details, shall we? Now, I did give it well, a texture a little bit, like from the paint job. I just dabbed some cloth on it to age it a little and give it texture. And it's just clay. It's clay. And I made these little boxes out of clay as well. But I put some metal wire in that and pressed it through like that, so it's extra sturdy, and it looks like there's some, I don't know, there's some metal just sticking out of there that holds it all together. And then here it's some floral wire, like floral wires are green, and so I just used that. And I painted them, and I made little shapes out of them, and then just pushed them in some paint. And I've also used a little bit of paper and to make different plants. Over here is one big pot, and here I have all types of things. I have a lot of paper grass in the bag, and some red flowers, and some big yellow ones, and some silver ones actually. This is supposed to be like silver grass. And I love it so much. It's so cute, and then it just fits right on here. Whoop! Look at that. It fits. And it's like centered. Like one part is not heavier than the other. It's just fits right there. Like you can see if I put it on the wrong way, then it just floats right down. Do you see that? Okay, this side doesn't work as well, but this side is... It's fantastic. It's perfectly centered. I love this man so much. He's far from perfect. Far from perfect. But he is my favorite boy. He is. So yeah. I wanted to make another bigger project, but it always takes a while. Like I've done him, like the actual making him wasn't that long, just a couple of days, but I was still going to school back then, so I had more time. But really, I don't know what I want to do right now. I've done so much. I've made 1,000 dragons of all shapes, colors and sizes. I've made a cat. I'm pretty proud of my cat. I made that. The cat does not have a belly button. And yeah, I don't know what. If you have an idea of what I could make in the future, then please let me know, because I'm always open for suggestions. I do want to make something, I just don't know what. And maybe I could film it and show you the process step by step of what I do to get to this end result. And if you're interested anyway. But I hope you enjoyed this little video. It definitely wasn't a video that I thought I'd ever make, but I feel like these old pieces do need some appreciation. And yeah, I wish you a good night or a good rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Then without these two little guys, although I love them very, very much. But until then,